All right, hello, my wonderful students. This is solving inequalities with variables on both sides. So we're going to do A first, and then we'll work on B. So the first thing we have to do is we need to move the inequality, or the variable, which we call the old man. And we have two of them here. We have to move one of them to the other side with the other. What I found easiest is we always try to find the we always try to find the variable that's the smallest and move it over to the bigger one. That way we don't have to deal with negative variables. So in order to do that, what we're going to do is we have this negative x here and this positive 5. The positive 5x is bigger than the negative x, so we're going to move the x over to the 5 side. Since it's subtracting x, what we're actually going to do is the opposite, which is add x to both sides. And then we left on this side, we have 6x, negative x plus x simplifies to 0, so we don't have to actually write it down. And then we have 6 is greater than 5x plus x is 6x, and then we have our plus 30. Now this turns into a regular equation where we have our old man here. It's just a two-step equation. First we have to get rid of our plus 30, which in order to do that we're actually going to subtract 30 to both sides. And yes, we do have a negative here, but we're not actually going to have to divide by a negative, which is good because then we don't have to worry about flipping the symbol and maybe causing an error that way. So if we have 6 minus 30, if we have $6 but we owe someone 30, after we pay them, we're still going to owe them $24. Our inequality will stay the same, so we don't have to worry about switching it. And we still have our 6x, and our 30 divided by 30 simplifies to 0. Now we have to do is get rid of this pesky 6 here that's bugging the old man. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to divide by 6 because the 6 is multiplying the x. So the opposite operation of multiplying is dividing. So we're going to divide 6 to both sides. And we get that negative 24 divided by 6 is just negative divided by positive would be negative. And then 24 divided by 6 would be 4. And that's greater than x because 6 divided by 6 equals 1. So it divides out and leaves us just with our old man, which is x. So we typically would be done here. The only thing is that our old man likes to be in front. So in order to do that, we actually have to move him in front. The symbol stays the same. So since it's pointing towards him, we're actually going to keep it pointing towards him that way. And we're going to call it negative 4. And we notice that it is greater than negative 4. So 4 is supposed to be bigger because it's negative 4 is greater than x. So x would actually be smaller than negative 4. And we do show that here because we have x is less than negative 4. Okay, now we move on to B. We have a similar equation. We have 4m minus 8 is less than or equal to 10 minus 2m. Once again, we're going to look for our old man. We see our old man is here, which is m. We actually have two of them, but we got to move one over to the other side. Once again, the 4 is bigger than the negative 2, so we're going to move the negative 2 over to this side in order to start. Okay, so let's do that. So the opposite of negative 2 would be plus 2m. Plus 2m. And then we would have 4m plus 2m is 6m, so we would have 6m here. Our negative 8 stays the same. Our less than or equal to stays the same. And then we have our 10. And then our negative 2m plus 2m subtracts to 0 or adds to 0. So we don't have to worry about putting plus 0 here. You can if you want. But when we combine like terms, 10 plus 0 ends up being 10 anyways. Okay, now we're going to move our constant on this side, which is our negative 8, over to that side there. In order to do that, we have to do the opposite operation, which is we're going to add 8 to both sides. And we're left with 6m, black, 6m, negative 8 plus 8 subtracts to 0. And this is going to be still less than or equal to. And then we have 10 plus 8, which is 18. Well, our old man is in front, but he's still not alone because we have negative, that 6 is really bugging him. So we're going to do our best to get rid of it. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to do, since the 6 is multiplying the m, we're actually going to divide by 6 because that's the opposite operation of what's actually going on. we see that 6 divided by 6 does indeed equal 1, which leaves us with our old man, which is m, is less than or equal to 18 divided by 6, which is 3. So this is how we do our inequalities with a variable on each side.